Last episode, Special Division 4 were simultaneously ambushed with gunfire. Makima and her assistant, as well as Hirokazu and Kabini, were all presumably killed on the spot. Denji, as well as Power, Aki, and Himeno were also ambushed by a man with similar powers to Denji, but with katanas instead of chainsaws. Unfortunately, he targeted Denji first, rendering him unconscious for the fight. Aki has to resort to his dangerous sword, the Cursed Devil, to deal with his opponent, taking years off his life every time he uses it. After killing Katana Man, he is revived by a new unknown character, for now called Hoodie Girl, and Katana Man scolds himself for underestimating Aki before blinking and cutting him open. With no other options left, Himeno tells her Ghost Devil that she will give all of herself to her if the Ghost Devil does the same. She almost saved Aki, sacrificing her life in the process, but the Hoodie Girl calls upon the Snake Devil, immediately devouring the Ghost Devil. Himeno is killed, and Aki watches in awe as once again his team member has died near him. Now, all seems lost. Aki can barely move, Himeno has been killed, Power has run away, and Denji is unconscious. On top of that, everyone else in Special Division 4 has already been killed. However, in her very last moments, Himeno uses the remaining power of the Ghost Devil to move towards Denji, and pulls the cord on his chest for his chainsaws. Denji regains consciousness, and despite not understanding why they're being targeted, he's simply stoked to see that there are bad guys ready to be killed, since nobody will complain when he murderizes them. Katana Man states he will put him down a second time, and immediately prepares for round 2. Hoodie Girl calls in on the radio, revealing herself to be Sawatari, and states that they're in combat with Chainsaw Man and immediately calls for backup. Aki is still paralyzed in shock on his knees, and while inspecting the missing fingernail on her hand from summoning the Snake Devil, Sawatari is interrupted by fighting chainsaws and katanas. The two devil men continue to battle. The power of Katana Man's swings are truly frightening, and he's far from slow also. Denji is blown straight into a wall. Two companions of Katana Man asked him if they should shoot Denji, to which he responds by saying to aim for his arms or heart, despite Hoodie Girl saying not to damage his heart. This doesn't faze Denji as he wipes them both out before they can even fire. Katana Man blocks his strikes, but suddenly Denji notices he's acquired a cut to his chest despite having no recollection of being hit. Moaning about the pain, he is then shot by this Beanie Boy, who is then hit with a people's elbow by yours truly. Denji takes Beanie Boy hostage, and asks Katana Man what he'll do now with one of his companions in danger. Suddenly, Katana Man disappears, while channeling his inner Sasuke. With no remorse he decides to slash through the both of them, cutting both Denji and the hostage in half. Katana Man grabs Denji, telling his subordinate to hurry up and get the car. Katana Man exclaims that despite being devil hunters, they're still only human, and will always lose against guns, while we're shown a short montage of all the devil hunters laying dead. On the train with Makima's lifeless body, we're shown panicking civilians while the assassins converse. They're ordered to go into the next train and blend in with the public since their mission was successful. But all the assassins are extremely shocked by what happens next. They look up, and standing before them is none other than Makima. They take aim with their gun, but the camera cuts away to the colleagues waiting for Makima at the station. They're informed by someone that all the members of Special Division 4, including Makima who they were waiting for, have all been simultaneously killed. One member can't believe it, while the other is simply agitated that they waited here all this time for nothing. As the train pulls up and the doors open, we're seeing civilians running for their life in complete panic. Makima nonchalantly walks off the train as if nothing happens, ordering them to clean up the dead bodies on the train and informing them that luncheon has been cancelled. Covered in blood, she's asked by her colleagues if she was wounded, but Makima responds that the blood isn't hers, and that she was never hit by the gunfire. After, we're cut to the dead bodies she's referring to, where all the assassins have experienced large fatal wounds to their bodies. Upon leaving the station, the colleagues ask if they should depart to Tokyo to assist with the ambushes, but Makima simply states they would never make it there in time. It's then that Makima asks her two colleagues, Kurosei and Tendo, for two strange requests. First, she needs 30 convicts serving life sentences in jail. And second, they need to rent out a nearby shrine for her, one with the highest altitude. Oh, and a change from these bloody clothes, of course. Back to Denji, the assassins are complaining about how heavy his body is, despite being cut in half. I guess that chainsaw in his head isn't exactly very light. Katana Man also notes he won't be able to transform again for a while due to this battle being tougher than he anticipated. Demanding assistance, one says to the other to grab the other side of his body to help carry him, but he simply asks what he's supposed to hold on to considering he has no legs to grab. However, he then freezes up and says that something suddenly feels weird. Hoodie Girl asks what he means, but is interrupted by a devastating attack that grants this man the powers of the Pancake Devil, and flattens him into the ground. Flabbergasted, Sawatari calls in on the radio and demands confirmation that Makima was killed. Before he can fully respond, the Pancake Devil pays him a visit also, decimating him just like the man before. Sawatari's assumption was right. It's Makima. She's atop the highest shrine in her vicinity with 30 convicts and her team, all blindfolded. It's stated that Makima's powers are so great, not even her own colleagues are allowed to know exactly which devil she's contracted with. Makima goes to each convict, making them repeat a certain name. Each time they do so, whichever name spoken is immediately flattened, and the convict's life is presumably taken by the devil she works with. Even the assassins who have a hostage stand no chance, as they are killed and the hostage remains completely fine, besides from the new red dye on their clothing. Suddenly the attacks cease, and Makima states she's done all she can do for now and will now return back to Tokyo. Terrified, Sawatari and Katana Man desperately tried to get Denji into the van. Despite killing most of the aggressors, there's still nobody there to help Denji. As if that wasn't bad enough, the reinforcements that Hoodie Girl called for earlier finally arrive, but Hoodie Girl and Katana Man are very confused to see that the supposed reinforcements is actually just Kabini with her favorite weapon in hand. It's revealed that while being ambushed, Hirokazu was shot first, and in his last moments, he heroically threw himself in front of the second bullet that was heading towards Kabini, saving her life with his death. She presumably killed the hired gun and took his radio. Sawatari calls upon the snake devil again, but is gobsmacked at Kabini's reaction as she jumps on top of the snake and runs over it, making Katana Man question if she is a human or a monkey. While trying to shoot her, Kabini charges and slashes off his hand. Then, while midair, she catches the airborne firearm and immediately puts two right in the back of Katana Man. She dodges the return fire, and using Denji's big metal head she deflects the bullets shot at her by Sawatari, who then tells Katana Man to die in the car before throwing him in there and making a break for it. With Denji's half-body safely laying on her lap, she apologizes for trying to kill him before simultaneously laughing and crying at the fact she keeps saying that. She then reminisces on Hirokazu sacrificing himself for her, again laughing and crying before stating that this job is going to drive her crazy, and how she can't take it anymore. She decides that next time she sees Himeno, she's going to quit. Which means I guess she won't be quitting anytime soon. We're cut to a scene with Makima exclaiming relief that Madoka is still alive. She asks how many people survived the ambush, to which he responds aside from the non-humans, pretty much no one. Makima confirms that the gun devil is almost certainly involved. I wonder what gave that away. Madoka explains that due to the losses, the higher-ups have decided to merge Special Divisions 1, 2, and 3 with 4, and immediately place them under Makima's demand. He then passes on an envelope. Makima asks what it is, and Madoka explains it's his resignation. Terrified at the current events, he's realized it's either quit or be killed and chooses the former. He then asks Makima how much of this she anticipated was going to happen, to which she responds she can't discuss such matters with a civilian, before thanking him for his service. The new recruits, Kurosei and Tendo, ensure Makima is aware that they're not joining her division permanently, and will be returning to Kyoto as soon as they can. Makima is upset to hear this, since there's so many good restaurants in Tokyo that they haven't experienced yet. This has been King Cap Anime bringing you the fastest recaps on the platform, wrapping up this wild episode. Remember to subscribe to become a king, and we'll see you again for the next one.